With the NFL Hall of Fame game less than 70 days away, yes, I checked, and the regular season only 101 days away, and again, yes, we checked that, the Eagles have some decisions to start making. Who is going to be the faces of this team going forward? There's going to be some position battles we're going to have to keep an eye on, and today I want to tell you three-ish players that need to step up this year for the Eagles to get back to the Super Bowl. So let's talk about it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So today I want to talk about three players, well, three-ish, you know, I'm terrible at math, three-ish players that have to step up this year in order for the Eagles to make it back to the promised land. Now, before we get into that, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We are on the road to 10K. We would love for you guys to join that ride. So let's hop right into it. I'm going to start with an honorable mention, okay? I was going to put him on the list, but I know you guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about him, but we all know Quez Watkins, if he's going to be that wide receiver 3, he needs to step up. Obviously, last year, he didn't have a terrible year. A lot of people like to make it painted out like he was just terrible all the time, but he had some really big mistakes and some key moments. So, you know, we're going to be looking at him. A lot of his plays are going to be under a microscope, unfortunately or fortunately, however you look at it. I know he's going to come into this year motivated, so I'm not going to drone on about Quez Watkins. I'm not going to put another angry face with a Quez Watkins picture in the thumbnail, I promise, but I'll put him as an honorable mention because I think you have to bring him up. He's somebody that you look at last year and you think about what happened, and definitely some plays left out on the field that may have turned this season around for the Philadelphia Eagles. Not a bad season, though. It wasn't a bad season. Shout out to my guy Quez. Now, we'll get into the actual list. Number 3. All right, there's a lot of guys on this team that I think are going to have to step up, right? And it's not in the sense of, oh, they were terrible last year. It's more in the sense of this team needs to get over that hump now. We've made it to the Super Bowl. We have a lot of our players back. We have some good key additions, and we have a good defensive coordinator that it sounds like he knows what he's talking about, you know, unlike a Jonathan Gannon with all the explosions and pew, pew, pew. Like, this guy sounds like he knows what he wants to do. So the first guy I'm going to bring up is going to be on the defense, and honestly I think it might be the only defensive guy I brought up. I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be Avonte Maddox. Look, Avonte is one of the better, if not one of the best slot cornerbacks when he's on the field. Now, the latter part of that sentence is really what kind of frightens me with him, is he hasn't been able to be on the field for a full 16-game season. Now we're in 17 games, so still hasn't done that. So it does worry me. It definitely does worry me. Last year, he only played 9 games. I want to go over the numbers that he had last year because we're going to have to see. I'm not mad at the numbers. I'm more so worried about him not being able to play the full season. Again, like I said, 9 games. He had 1 interception, 3 pass deflections, 3 forced fumbles, which was, I didn't realize that just thinking off the top of my head. 1 fumble recovery. He had 1 sack. He had 43 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. He only gave up a 65% completion percentage. He gave up 0 touchdowns, but he also had his highest missed tackle percentage of his career. Now, his second highest was his rookie year. I was going to say his freshman year. His rookie year, he put up a 10.3. This year it was 10.4. So it's not like a crazy difference, but 9 games, your highest missed tackle percentage, you can kind of key in on the injuries and him playing through some injuries on why that may have happened. And, you know, maybe he was playing a little bit banged up through some games, and that can be kind of a cause to some of that stuff. But it does worry me. It does worry me, and I want to see him healthy. I need to see him healthy for a full season, and I think this Philadelphia Eagles team and defense in specific will definitely benefit from Avonte Maddox staying out there on the field. Now, step up. I said step up. Again, I want to kind of clarify, because it's not step up like Avonte Maddox was trash. Those numbers aren't bad. I just need to see you go out there and have another great year. Have another great year. Stay healthy for 16 games. Stay healthy for 20 games if we're making it to the 17, and 20 games if we're making it to the Super Bowl, right? Stay healthy. Stay out on that field, and that's how you step up for us. Avonte Maddox is a guy that we don't talk about enough. I realistically feel that way, so I'm talking about him now. He's number 3. He's a guy I need to see step up for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, next, I said 3 or 4-ish, right? So I gave myself a little bit of a window. This is going to kind of be 2 people. It's going to be either Cam Cam Jurgens or Tyler Steen. The Philadelphia Eagles last year had one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in the game. So we've had that for a while. We've had a very, very good offensive line for as long as I can remember. It feels like the past decade, outside of injuries, we've had good players on that offensive line. This year is no exception. Now we look at the guard spot. Obviously, Kelsey's coming back, so we don't have to really worry about there. But the guard spot is open. Who's going to be the starter? Isaac Seumalo moves on in the offseason. Who's going to take over? So we look at Tyler Steen. We look at Cam Jurgens. Tyler Steen, from people, look, shout out to my guy Jimmy Smith on the road to victory. Definitely go check him out if you haven't before. He told me in a live that we did with Mike and Josh Davis from the Philly special that his guy that works with Coach Stoutland and that offensive line, that he thought that Tyler Steen was the next Brandon Brooks. So that's huge words to say. That's a huge comparison to give to such a young guy, especially a guy that we're taking in the third round. I believe we got him. So that's a big. Those are big words. Those are fighting words. If I'm Cam Jurgens, so Cam Jurgens is going to have to prove. He's going to have to go out there and he's going to have to fight for this job if he wants that guard spot. He could just sit back behind Kelsey one more year and then start at center next year. Who knows what happens there? But between the two of them, someone's going to have to step up. They're going to have to get in there and just be good. I mean, be good right away. I do not want to see a situation where the Philadelphia Eagles are scrambling to figure something out at guard, right? We've seen a couple of different rumors with them bringing in offensive linemen. We saw the guy that just, retired, and I don't know what's going on with that. We haven't heard more about that. But if they bring in a veteran for their guard spot, I would be a little bit worried. I'm going to be honest. I want to see one of these young guys be able to go out there and play. We also still have a guy like Jack Driscoll. We also have some other guys, that could possibly make a name for themselves in this camp and go ahead and steal a starting job. But I think between those two, we're going to be looking at our starting guard. So Tyler Steen, I said Sheen last time. Maybe he's one of the Lost Brothers, but either Tyler Steen or Cam Jurgens, they're going to have to step it up, and they're going to have to go out there and play like they belong on one of the best offensive lines in the league, because we need it. We need a Super Bowl. We not playing around. We not waiting no more. So shout out to them. That's number 2 right there. It's 2, right? You see, at number 2, I put 2 people. Now, lastly is going to be, look, if you like smooth jazz, if you like a guy that's just smooth as jazz, then you like Kenny G, right? You like Kenny Gainwell, man. Kenny Gainwell is a very interesting guy. You can look at his regular season numbers. You can look at what he did during the regular season. He didn't do terribly, right? He's obviously was running pretty well, especially towards the end of the year. And then you look at his receiving, he was definitely an option in that. But I wanted to look at his playoff stats. So I want to bring up his playoff stats real quick, and then we'll talk about Kenny G. But he had 33 rush attempts in the playoffs this past year, 33 rushing attempts, 181 yards, 1 touchdown, a 5.5 yards per rush average. He had 9 targets, 7 receptions with 55 yards. Didn't have a touchdown this year, but last year I believe he had a receiving touchdown. I mean, we utilized him a lot. We did, especially in that Super Bowl. I was kind of surprised to see how much we utilized Kenneth Gainwell, versus some of our other backs, namely Miles Sanders. So maybe they were grooming him. Maybe they were getting him ready. I know a lot of us talk about Rashad Penny. A lot of us talk about DeAndre Swift, and rightfully so. These guys are definitely going to come in here, and they're going to make a definite push for that starting running back spot. But we know the Eagles. We know the Eagles don't necessarily give one guy 20 or 30 20 or 30 carries. So they're going to probably split it. It's going to be interesting to see how much of a split Kenny Gainwell really, demands. And it really does come down to him. It comes down to how important are you going to make yourself. I want to see what he's done in the offseason to become a better pass blocker. I want to see him be able to key in on rushers a little bit better this offseason. Maybe put on a little bit weight and be able to take on some blockers this offseason. Become more of an option in the passing game, and become an even better runner. I think, like I said, over time you've seen him become a better, in between the tackles runner. But if you want to realistically put your foot in this offense and make yourself known, Kenny, you're going to have to go out there and ball out because there's so many other guys that can do it, right? And you have a quarterback that can run the ball. Like we said, we added 2 good running backs this year that if they stay healthy, they're going to fight for the position. You look at this team, you still got Boston Scott. Anything is possible with this team. We've seen the Eagles make late, pushes for running backs in Super Bowl years before 2017, and it helped, right? So who knows what happens this year? Kenny's going to have to prove that the Eagles don't need to look elsewhere. He's going to have to show that I am that guy, and there's no need to, worry about anybody else. And I think he will. I think Kenneth Gainwell is in a really good spot. Even if he is splitting it with the other 2, I think that he's going to be able to set himself apart because he does have that versatility, whereas the others too do as well. But I don't know. Kenny G in the passing game, I think, is a very underutilized weapon, and I think that he's very, very good after the catch and very, very good in route running and with his hands. So I would love to see him utilized more there. That's my 3. You guys let me know your 3. Lastly, I do want to talk about DeAndre Hopkins. So look, if you guys care about this, then you care about this. I'm just going to put this out there real quick. So Jalen Hurts and DeAndre Hopkins, they follow each other on social media now. That's cool. So that's cool. Maybe it happens. DeAndre Hopkins saw in Philly yesterday, so that's cool. Maybe he's talking to some people. I'm going to say straight up, I've talked to some people that are closer to the organization, and nobody knows. I'm not going to sit here and say, everybody's telling me this isn't going to happen, but the overall sentiment that I'm getting is that it's probably not going to happen. If it would have happened, it probably would have happened already. So we'll see what happens. I would love for DeAndre Hopkins to be on this team. Don't get me wrong. And anybody telling you that they don't, they're lying to you. But I wouldn't lie to you. Joe wouldn't lie to you. So it is what it is. But you guys let me know what y'all thinking in the comments. Other than that, if y'all enjoyed this, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. I appreciate it. But y'all know what it is, man. It is fly. Eagles fly. And we are out here. Gotta clear my throat. I gotta peace.
Eagles fans everywhere. This is for
Yeah.
you.
Fly, Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird game nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season head, early time to do him in. Your boy Philly Fresco, thanks for tuning in.